All right. Okay. Mic seems to be working. It's a good start. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Let's fix this real quick. There we go. All right. I am starting a creative fit. Welcome. How you doing? So I am starting a new painting today. Um, I'm so tired of the paintings I've been working on, and I don't want to work on them on stream anymore. I want to, you know, take the time, finish the like final little details, and just do that. So I'm gonna start a new one today. How are you doing? I hope you had a good holiday. Hanging in there. Was ill better? Yeah, I remember you said you were ill. Especially now that you reminded me. Sorry, my brain struggles with the written names, but and connecting things to them. But yeah, um, I'm glad you're feeling a bit better. I wish you were feeling tons better, but you'll get there, I'm sure. It's never as quickly as we would like, but that's because it's not instantly. So I get that. At least that's how I feel about it. I'm not a very patient person on some things. So yeah, starting a new painting today. This one will be interesting for me. It'll be challenging because it's essentially a portrait, but I don't want it to be a very recognizable portrait. I mean, it's the type of thing where it's like, yeah, maybe if you know the person really well and you maybe know the photo it's from, you'd be like, hey, I know that person. But I don't want it to be something where someone could do like, reverse search, image search, and find the person. Not that I think they can. I'm just saying theoretically, I don't want it to be that close to a portrait. Does that make sense? Just need to grab a a thing to paint on. Hey, oh, there we go. And I need to make some new boards. Oh, this is 11 by 14. This is the wrong size. Crap. Do I not have a Oh, shoot. Hold on. Am I out of this? Uh, oh, shoot. Not yet, at least. Maybe in a few years. What is that in reference to? What I was explaining? Was I that unclear that you're like, yeah, I'll probably need a few years to decipher the crap you're saying? It's cool. Oh, reverse search. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, the reverse search, I mean, it works pretty well now, but like I said, I'm hoping that I do a good enough job of making it an expressive enough that it's not like a very clear portrait of the person. Just trying to see. I thought I could have sworn I had a crap. I need to resize the image then. 1 second. This sucks. Um, I totally thought I had a 12 by 16, but I don't. It's gonna have to be a 11 by 14. Um, that's not that much worse. All right, that's not too bad. Just that. So all my what's it called? Um, all my paintings, my reference images, I always make sure that they are the same. Um, that they are the same proportions as the painting. I crop them all to be the same proportions because something that people um, don't pay attention to is that a lot of times you're using the negative space to help you. What's the word I'm looking for? Use the negative space to help you measure, and if you're using a what's it called? Something that's different proportions, and then it messes up all your measurements. Alrighty. Oh, and we're gonna get a Dresden now. Dresden, ah, baby boy. Yeah. Aw. Say hi. Hi, baby. He's so fluffy. You have to look at the camera. Your face is so cute. Either that or your belly. We have to see one or the other. Thank you. Look at that fluffy belly. Uh, we had 4 orange Fosters we returned and now miss. Oh, absolutely. Uh, I every orange you know, every orange cat that I've ever interacted with or that anybody I know has had, um, with the exception of one, have all been the biggest sweethearts and like the best cats. So I'm sorry you had to do that. That that's the problem with fostering, right? Like I don't know that I could do it in that way because like if I like the animals then I'm going to want to keep them. And if I don't, Michelle will. Our cats have been we had a wild cat wild like a I don't know. A cat outside. I don't know if it belonged to anybody or it was feral. I have no idea. But we had a feral cat come by our place and hang out in our backyard. Um, and that triggered one of our cats. Um, and it's caused some problems. Hey Cornella, Orange Cat Gang. Yeah, absolutely. They're such dumb sweethearts, uh Creative Fit says we were planning on keeping one, but it was complicated. I get that. And if they're like a family, it's hard to break them up too. It can be. All right. I lack a table. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this trash board and this painting board, and I'm going to tape one to the other. So excuse me for a second while I do that on the floor. I can still talk and everything, luckily. I just have to do that off camera. But yeah. Cornella says, second time I join and they're just instantly eating your beard again. Dresden is that's his name. He's named after the wizard, Dresden. He's a sweetheart and he loves me. Yeah, he has a tendency to lick my nose every time I pick him up. Which, you know, is fine because I don't exfoliate nearly often enough. So he does that for me. But yeah, we have 3 cats. Dresden's only orange boy we have, but he likes to hang out in my room when in general. So when especially in the evening, and since I stream in the evenings, he often makes an appearance. The other 2 are a little more shy, although they'll be here occasionally. Alrighty. So I have a very, very high-tech system I want to share with everybody. So I have a trash board that I use and my painting surface. And what I do is I take tape and I loop it. And then I tape it on. So very high-tech and advanced system, clearly. I love how like there's been all this talk online about I'm hold on a second, let me read this. Cornella says I'm a big fan of the Waltito, the orange Dorito on YouTube too. He's not an orange cat, but also a wizard. I'll have to check him out. I'm not familiar, but that's cute. What was I gonna? Oh, I was gonna say there's been a lot of talk with all the like AI stuff. I'm not going to get into it because it's exhausting. But there's been a lot of talk about like how privileged artists are and all this stuff, and I'm like, I love how just in general like artists do things like the most like duct tape jank together kind of thing in general. And I'm no different. And I love how like they think that artists are like some, I don't know, rich whatever. Also, rip, I lost my painter's tape. Oh no. Yeah, I keep everything in this area and I still manage to lose things repeatedly, like nonstop. It's I don't know how that happens, but yeah. Also, there's a difference. Where is it? I'm trying to. So there is artist's tape, and there is drafting tape. So these are by the same company. This is Artist Tape Pro, and this is Drafting Tape Pro. Now, obviously, I used to do the old system where I would buy cheap, not artist paint, and I'd just like stick it to my shirt and take it off so that it had all the lint on it so it would be less sticky. That system works. But what I was going to say is the drafting tape is way less tacky than the artist tape, like significantly less sticky, to the point where I've had boards fall off the thing that they're taped to because of how little the drafting tape would stick to the surface. So just anyone who's buying artist tape for, drafting tape has a purpose. It's much better if you're going to be taping it onto the painting itself. But yeah, just be aware of that. Let me just put this here real quick. Also, I don't know about the like blue painter's tape. I don't know how like acidic or how much of an issue that is. If you don't care about that stuff, I think it's cheaper than artist tape, but probably not by much. Oh, let me switch camera views real quick. You didn't know there was two types of tape that looked the same? I didn't either, and that's why I got screwed up. And I bought one. I looked one is more the artist. So the artist one is more like glossy white, right? It's more of a glossy like white, and the drafting one is more off-white, and it's not as glossy, and it looks a little thinner. And I thought that would be better for certain things, and I'm sure it is, but it's not better for keeping things stuck onto things. Oh, and then you can also buy it in. You can also buy artist tape in black, which I personally like as well. But yeah, same name, same. The logo is the Pro. It's the same logo. So yeah, I gotta be aware of that, because I literally had a painting taped on like this, and the painting just fell off midway, which is not great. Yeah, artist privilege is something you've only seen talked about since following the discourse about AI art. Yeah, I mean, look, everybody knows that there are like some unbelievably wealthy artists out there who but everybody knows that is such a small minority. Cornella says, yeah, I have the privilege to create shit because I'm not in chains and worked hard. Like, duh. Yeah. No, absolutely. Also, like even artists who are like successful, there's and making a living at it still, like I know so many who are making a living at it, and it's still like everything's kind of janky and like, you know, what like they're not rich, they're making a living. They're not like, you know, uh crazy wealthy or anything. Like my light right up here, um it's a special light bulb. Let's see if I can kind of show it here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Uh, it's like it's kind of like one of those what's fluorescent tubes. But it's a special light bulb that supposedly has better color fidelity. I don't know what the word is. I forgot. It was you know, a little more expensive than like the cheapest LED light you can buy, but it wasn't crazy expensive. And I have it hanging off of like two gooseneck arms that I have what's uh zip tied to my easel because I don't know how to like properly set it up. Like I'm not gonna, I don't know what, drill holes in the ceiling and hang something down. Like, I don't know. Dan the Man, full spectrum. Yeah, it's full spectrum. It's like color reproductive, what is it, CRI, something like that. But like over 95% or something. But they actually claim to do even more than that and have better, I think it's specifically the reds, because apparently most LEDs don't do a good job of that. I don't know. What's the company? They're really good. It was wave. I think it's like Waveform Lighting or something like that. Hey, Leah, I hope you had a good Christmas. Yeah, Dan, we went out and saw not Iron Man. I was going to say Iron Man. Aquaman 2. And had dinner and everything. It was nice. It was really nice. Hope you did as well. Same to everybody. Cornella as well. And Creative Fit when they get back if they hear this. But yeah, it was fun. We went to see Aquaman 2 and had a nice dinner. How about you? Anything special? We don't have family here, so we do kind of just the two of us kind of thing, and easy. No prep work required. All right. Clean off the. Oh, that hurt my ears. Clean off the palette real quick. So I was going to paint yesterday. That's why my palette was out. I was like, I am definitely painting. And then I went and got my allergy shots, and I was like, okay, I'll definitely paint later today. And then later came around, and I was like, yeah, I'm not painting. I felt like crap yesterday. The allergy shots are such a weird thing. If it says we have 2 girls prep work regularly required. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's why I like going to the movies, where go to a movie theater that you can eat while watching the movie and just have like dinner and a movie. It's nice. We barely go out and stuff anymore, but yeah, that was nice. Uh, Dinnerman says, just had a real quiet one with my daughters, my parents, and my brother. It was nice. That sounds great. Renell says, my stepfather turned 50 on Christmas, and my mom organized a surprise party. It was lit, but I'm kind of wrecked now and constantly coughing. Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. I mean the sick part, not the party. Um Aquaman was I don't know if anyone's seen Aquaman 1 or 2 or either. Um Aquaman 1 we watched we watched before going. We watched the day before to prepare for going to see 2. I'd already seen it, but Michelle hadn't. Um uh I don't want to like look, people work really hard to make movies, and even bad movies, like the people who work on it, you know, do the best they can and work really hard. Uh Hey Don Lee, good to see you. Creative Fit you saw number 1. Yeah. Um 2's a lot better than 1. It's not a it's not a good movie, but at least it was enjoyable. One and I think the main reason is they severely limited what's her name's role in the movie um in number 2 because she is just a black hole of entertainment, you know. It's just it's yeah, it's pretty remarkable. How you doing, Don Lee? Good to see you. Don Leo, by the way, on Twitch, he's in Twitch chat right now, is also a streamer. He streams digital art and a lot more pop culture stuff than me, but a lot of fun cosplayers and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, his streams are a lot of fun when he does them. He's been slacking a little lately, but that's because he's been putting together some really cool merch. Yeah, I wouldn't say that Aquaman is necessarily like if you liked 1, like by all means go watch 2. But if you're like even lukewarm on 1, I don't know that I'd like recommend going to see 2. Don Lee, who's slacking? I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm also been slacking. I should have had all this prepared prior to starting. That's usually my goal, to have all like to never do this stuff on stream, like all this prep work, because it's like who really cares? But you know. You don't remember one? There was a lighthouse, and even that couldn't outshine Amber Heard. Uh, she's just so bad. I'm not even going to get into any of the stuff surrounding her. Just her as an actress is just like, but just yeah, bad. No, Cornella says I care. Okay, well now you get to see all the steps involved. Yeah. So a lot of artists, they'll do at this stage. What they'll do is they'll do a wash. They'll either draw it in or do a wash. Um, I don't do either of those things. I don't do a wash because I can't, because I don't use solvents in my painting process, and I can't do. I don't do the drawing because I'll be doing the drawing with what's it called? I'll just do the drawing freehand with the paint. So there's no point in me doing it with like pencil or something. Um, he got Amber jokes for me to poop on, or really her. She would poop on. Okay, yeah. The thing is, it's just like this really has nothing to do with it's really just like she's just not a really good actress, or she wasn't. Trial jokes. Yeah, no, I got it. You got them. Absolutely. No, she just really wasn't all that. She's just really flat. I don't know. Maybe she's been really good in other things. But in the movie, she was very boring or bad, however you want to phrase it. Yeah. I try not to, like I said, I try not to shit on people in generally speaking, but it was significantly better with less of her in the movie. Like that's just the way it was. Ah, sorry, I have to adjust this real quick. There we go. That's better. Why? Oh, stupid thing. All right. I'm like, why did it do that? Okay, there we go. Yeah, my camera is so distorted if I don't do this stuff. It's crazy. So just to show you what it looks like without my camera distortion on it, like this is how distorted my camera is right now. Cornell says never had to Lamau at a joke from the other chat before. How novel. That's funny. Yeah, the what's it called? The chats being like fragmented like this is a little weird, but what can you do? Oh, actually, I know what I can do. It's just a pain in the ass, and I don't want to deal with it, if I'm being honest. There's a way that you can combine the chats, but like apparently it's a big pain in the butt to do. So it keeps jumping around like that because I also have a shortcut set up for what's it called? Uh, for my zoom. So it keeps trying to zoom in while I'm trying to set this up. Yeah. There we go. Donnelly says, I'm trying to remember other things she's been in. Gotta check her IMDb. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched her in like, yeah. She was in Zombieland. Zombieland was good. She wasn't one of the main characters. I know that. Uh, yeah, Zombieland was fun. All right, there we go. Finally set up. Good enough, at least. Yeah, I liked Zombieland. I never saw the second one. Um, I kept meaning to, but I never got around to it. If it Zombieland was good, yeah, Zombieland was fun. That was a fun movie, and it's also I think was very much of its time as well. Not saying that it doesn't hold up, just that if zombie movies were really popular when it came out, so you know. By the way, if anyone is interested in oil painting and hasn't and has never gotten into oil painting, I want it. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on. It's not tracking. We'll see what happens. Um, I posted a video in my Discord today and on my Twitter. Um, it's not my video, but it's a painter. I'm forgetting her name right now, but she's a teacher at I think it's Boston University. Um, but yeah, she's a really good oil painter and teacher, and she goes over like the basics of oil painting, not like the basics of how to paint a good painting, but it like how like all the like basics of like materials and stuff like that, like just some of the very basics about that. So if anybody um you know if anybody needs any of that, you're welcome to ask me questions. That's always welcome, but there's a whole like 2-hour presentation on it too. All right, let's get started. All right, so I don't use solvent in my painting process, so I can't do the wash. So I've come up with my own kind of system for that. I'm sure there's all kinds of ways that I could do a quote unquote wash without solvents. Um, but what I do is I just freehand sketch in uh, the drawing of everything, and then I take my brayer. No, I sketch it in, then I block in my main colors, and then I take my brayer um, and I just smear everything around and make a mess, and then I go in and fix it all. The only color I will not use for laying in my painting is the phthalo blue, because it's phthalo blue and it just kind of leaches into everything if there's too much of it. So yeah, usually I just use whatever I have on my palette that's still wet. Uh, I don't really have a what's it called, like a go-to like block-in color. Quinacridone Rose or Permanent Rose PV19 is always a good one because it's pretty transparent. It's uh it's a red, but it's a cool red that can go warm or cool. So it's a really good like color to use as block in. It is a strong color, but it's not nearly as overpowering as Phthalo Blue. Creative Fit says more Phthalo, please. Love me some Phthalo. I love Phthalo too. You got to know when to use it. It's my main blue. I use it all the time. However, um, it it can be a problem color, right? Like I actually did I did a painting with it, and I actually had to um, at one point I just had to stop painting and let the painting dry because it was turning into a kind of monochrome, because no matter what color I would put down, the blue would just kind of like seep through, and it was just, it would just everything was turning blue. The whole painting was turning blue. Um, so yeah, I just had to at one point be like, all right, I need to let this dry, because I can't, I just can't do anything here. I can go get that painting in a minute or two to show you if you want to see which one it was. I think it'll be clear actually that once you see the painting, you're like, yeah, you can still kind of see the remnants in it, which is okay. It was like meant to be a cool colored painting overall, but there's a difference between like cool and blue, just straight up blue. I also had another painting that I blocked in with phthalo, and I I didn't realize how like at the time I hadn't used phthalo a lot. I didn't realize much how much slower it was at drying compared to like my other colors at the time. I literally couldn't work on that painting for I think like a week or so while I waited for it to dry, because it just took forever. Normally that is not like my experience, but yeah. Yeah, I think phthalo otherwise is a great color, and why it's my main blue until I find a better one. I am I am not a painter who's like, um what's the word I'm looking for? Like loyal to my colors. I will switch and go to the best, quote unquote, the best paint or best pigment out there if I can find it. You'll get Pigments will get no loyalty from me. But yeah, I've yet to find a better palette than my current one. I'm open to the idea though. I've mentioned this before. There's actually a guy online I'm hoping to reach out to, um, see if I can talk to him about it. He deals with the science of paint and stuff like that. It'd be interesting to get his opinion on it. Of course, it's also worth mentioning that there's, you can do I did a painting with the Zorn palette. You don't need this palette to do a good painting by any stretch. This is just my preference. Palettes are all just preference for the most part. It's kind of looking like Rin Tin Tin at the moment. Oh, it's so funny. But yeah, hopefully it won't stay looking like Rin Tin Tin. If it does, I'm doing a bad job. So I tried running this photo through Adobe. Well, I ran it through Adobe's Colorize thing just to get a starting point. Um, but I also tried to run it through their like they have a photo restorator kind of thing for old photos. So I tried to run it through that, and um, it's supposed to try and like automatically remove scratches and stuff like that. And so it wasn't doing anything, and it wasn't doing anything, and it wasn't like I. So finally, I cranked it up so high that it did do something, but it also got rid of his cigarette. The guy has a cigarette in his mouth right here. I just edited it out poorly, I might add. Like he no longer had a cigarette, but he did look like he had some kind of STD or something growing on his lip. Yeah. All right. So that's my drawing. And now I will block it in. But before I block it in, let me show you a painting real quick. Um, just need to remember if it's up here or not. Yep, that's where it is. All right. This painting, um, I might, oops. Yeah, this painting, let me see, I'll put the painting. Let's see if this does a better job of it, I guess. Yeah, this painting, I blocked it in with some uh, green for the most part. Not phthalo, but phthalo was mixed in, and uh, I could not get her flesh tones in at all until it dried. I had to wait till it dried and then go back in and paint over because the block-in stage was just unmanageable. No smoking equals hepatitis. Got it, Puff Puff. I mean, in this instance, apparently. Phthalo is powerful. Yeah, Phthalo. Phthalo is powerful. Yeah. That's why my whole palette is powerful. Like my whole palette is uh like all the colors in it are like very can be very overpowering. When I can't fix skin tones, I tend to just use my foundation and other makeup. LOL. That's funny. I think that would be a little bit of a problem in this instance. I think that might cause some uh, possibly delamination issues at some point. But yeah, Phthalo is a problematic pigment to use for some people. But that, like I said, that's why all the pigments on my palette are like that. Even my black, I use Mars Black, and it is way stronger than what's it called? Um, oh, what is it? Than Ivory Black, and also I've used Chromatic Black. Chromatic Black isn't a powerful black at all. It's a mixing black. Yeah, and even my yellow, like my yellow is nowhere near as strong as Phthalo, but I have yet to encounter any yellow that is stronger. So you know that's why my palette has like such small piles usually, is because I use so little of the actual paint and so much like white to what's it called, to compensate. All right, so this is just my basic block in. I'm not too overly concerned with being 100% accurate. I know I won't be. I'd rather be a bit more expressive and not get so like locked up on being, accurate. And now I'm going to go in with a brush that I really, really need to try and rejuvenate at some point, or just well, I guess retire in under most circumstances. But yeah, I'm gonna block in my basic colors now. Um, I do try. I know a lot of painters, they do the thing where they block in just the darks. I block in everything. I do try to kind of group things together, especially the darks, because darks tend to, in our vision, they tend to group together more. Lights, extreme lights do as well. But yeah. Having said that, a lot of these, a lot of these photo references don't have like a ton of darks in them, so don't do too much of that. Oh, apparently I need to put out some more quinacridone. Let me do that before I start. Yeah, one of the paintings I did a long time ago, I did on I've done a bunch of paintings on Yupo paper. And I like Yupo paper. The thing about Yupo paper is it's non-absorbent, so everything takes longer to dry on it. Like, because it does not absorb any of the oil. Um, so just be aware of that if you ever try it. Yupo's fun though. I like painting on Yupo. I think I still have like one or two sheets of Yupo left. I'll probably do some paintings on that in the near future. I'm running out of well, I'm not running out of. I'm low on painting surfaces that I want to paint on. So I'll, I'll probably end up grabbing some of the Yupo that I haven't touched yet. I bought this paper, the Arches paper, and I loathe painting on it. So we'll see. I'll try and I'll try and use some what's it called? Um acrylic matte medium on it and see if that fixes it for me. But I can't not stand painting on that stuff. It's just horrendous. Got to take the dog on a walk. We'll check back. Hey, Creative Fit. Have a good walk. Enjoy it. I hope your dog's good at going on walks. Do people in chat, and I guess anybody watching, by all means, share in the comments. Do you struggle with skin tones, mixing skin tones? I'm just curious. Like specifically, is it like harder to mix skin tones for some reason, in your opinion? I'm just curious if anyone has that issue. I'm just asking this as the joke that Cornella was making, but and I've heard that before, so I'm just curious. Like a question I've heard many times is like, how do you mix skin tones? So I'm just wondering if anybody here specifically or anybody watching has an issue with that because if I don't know, skin tone. You mix skin tones the same way you mix anything is generally my like answer. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure I would with oil paint. Really? Oh, I mean, that might just is that just because you're not familiar with oil paint, Cornella? Just curious. Because that make like I totally understand that too. Like when I first started using oil paints, I was not good at using oil paints, and I really struggled with a lot of things in you know in using the paint. But over time, that got a lot better. Because like when I started getting into oil paints, I was already a working artist. I'm not saying that I was like, the biggest thing on, but I was making a living doing, doing art related things. And I still struggled, with, you know, with oil paints. I could not paint with oils nearly as well as I could digitally at the time. But, over time that changed. Um, Cornella says I kind of found out that the makeup trick. So when the acrylics are off, you modulate it. Like you said, if you mix that with oil paints, you'll probably get all kinds of weird stuff. Okay. But for me, it's mostly acrylic and watermarkers. So I think that's too different from y'all oil painters. Oh, I mean, yes and no. It's not. I think how can I put it? It's definitely different, and you'll definitely go through an adjustment period. Um, but the basics of the art, the f- the fundamentals of the art are the same. It's just the materials that are so different. And once that like once you get past that part of it, you'll have no problems. But it's definitely a different approach for sure. Oil paint is actually um honestly it's one of the I think when we're talking about like r- you know non-digital medium like real world mediums, I think it's one of the easiest once you kind of start getting a control over it. It's definitely one of the most forgiving because you can always correct your mistakes. You can always like go back and fix things and so on. Like it really is the one of the most forgiving ones in that manner. There are definitely elements to it that are challenging. You know, because it stays wet, it is easy to make mud. Um, that can be an issue for for people. Depending on how you want to paint, you might have to like constantly be waiting for it to dry. I rarely, with the exception of like the two paintings I mentioned, I rarely have to like wait for a painting to dry. Only time I really need to wait for a painting to dry is when it kind of hits that awkward spot of like it's starting to get tacky, so it's starting to dry up on me, but it's not fully dry. So I'm like that's usually a time where it's better to just wait for it to dry than paint over that. Um, but that's, a different kind of thing. I'm not waiting because I need it to be dry to do something. I didn't get back to it in time, so now it's tacky and I have to wait. But yeah, I will say this: if you like painting in layers, um, I don't know why anyone would paint. I don't know why anyone would glaze in oils. There might be a luminosity that you can get in oils that you don't get with other painting with other materials, maybe because of the oil versus whatever, water or acrylic binder or whatever. Like maybe, but if it's not a huge difference, I don't know why anybody would ever do glazing techniques in oil. It's so slow to dry. It seems so dumb to me. I used to paint in acrylics in art school, and my teacher taught me a technique that was involved a lot of glazing, and I would put down a layer, and then I would blast it with a hair dryer to dry faster, and then immediately I could go back in and start painting again, like nearly instantly. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like glazing in oils is I don't get it. Basically, is what I'm getting at. Markers are actually very challenging, Cornella. The fact that you paint in markers is interesting. They're very challenging because of how uh, I think they're even more limiting and more challenging than watercolor, possibly, um, because you can only go darker. There's no way of going lighter with them. I mean, obviously, you know that, but I'm just saying in general. Unless maybe you use acrylics to mitigate that, but then I wonder, um, does it not seep through the acrylics? Romeo says, I did a lot with marker in school illustration courses. Yeah, that's cool. How'd you like them? I used to use markers for um, what's it called? Those like sketch cards. I used to do sketch cards for like Marvel and stuff like that. And I used to use markers to color those. Cornella says, "You got it, LOL. You have a big tube of white acrylics. Okay, so you use white to cover up the marker. It doesn't leach through? I'm surprised." Donnelly says, "I like markers quite a bit. Watercolor was tougher for me. I don't think I ever really got a handle on it." I can see that. I will say the control, um, because of the nature of like the marker head, it comes out more controlled, I guess, than watercolors. So yeah, I can see that. I have I had a friend in art school who he tried to do a mixed media piece once, And you know, so he was trying to mix acrylics and markers and airbrush and I don't remember what else. He was trying to do, like I said, mix media, mix everything. Um, it was a absolute disaster. Literally, my teacher congratulated him on getting everything wrong so that he would never make another mistake ever again. um, because he literally got everything wrong. And one of the things that happened was that I don't know if it was marker or ink or what, but it would leach through the paint. So no matter what he did, it kept like seeping through. He couldn't cover up the marker properly. But I don't know if it was marker or if it was, I don't know if it was marker or ink or something else. I mean, it could have been a different type of marker too. I don't know. Don Lee says, I kind of want to try watercolor a bit. Yeah. Um, Watercolors are great. The thing I did watercolors recently and I wasn't really happy with it, with what I did with it. And the thing that I realized that was such a big issue for me personally was when I'm painting with oils, I mean, you see me, I'm mixing my paint here. So I can see what my mixed paint is going to look like when I put it down. Watercolors, you can't tell because if it pools, you can't see what color it's going to be. And even if it's not pooling, it looks different when it's on the palette than on the paper. So the only thing I took away from that is if I ever try to do watercolors again, I'm going to make sure I have a ton of scrap paper with me, because I used to do that and I totally forgot about it. But just have a ton of scrap paper and constantly like mix my color and then dab it on the scrap paper to see what the color actually is. Yeah. That was the big thing the big issue I ran into when trying to do watercolor again after years and years of not painting in watercolors. I just realized something. Okay. Donley says marker is great to add colored pencils over to refine the image. Yeah. Yeah. Um, Although I will say, Donley is saying though it can be tricky because the colored pencil wax if you want more marker over top of it. Yeah, I can see that. I have these colored pencils. Um, uh, I don't know what they're called. Uh, it's not going to pick it up. Stabilo or something like that. It says on it paper, glass, plastic, and metal. Like it can write on all of that, and it's water soluble, which seems very random to me. But yeah. Um, but yeah, there are watercolor pencils that you can use that give you kind of a like mix between. It's kind of an in between of like, you know, watercolor and colored pencils. Like you know, you can use it kind of like colored pencil and then just use some water to kind of like help it out or something. Ronaldo says, I can imagine some acrylic being too wet and it not covering over uh, water markers or water paint, but I'm usually pretty dense about the tools, to be honest. Okay. Ah, that's cool. Like I said, it was a long time ago. I don't remember the details of everything he did wrong on that, but apparently he accomplished, he got all his mistakes out in one piece, you know? So, yeah, when I was in art school, I never even touched oils. I was afraid of using oils. Um, Ironically. I also will note that I'm going in with like heavy paint right now. I don't recommend doing that uh if you're on your first layer unless you're doing what I do with uh the brayer. Just to show you real quick. Um I think it's a little dark. Let me lighten it up a bit. Um but yeah. Um you don't want to go in on the first layer with thick paint like I'm doing right now. And the only reason, well, I say that I don't think it's a good idea generally because then like the ridges are all going to be in the way as you try and cover that. Um, the reason I feel comfortable doing this is because I go everything with a brayer, um, and that smears all my paint around and kind of, you know, it pushes everything around so and flattens it out. So having thicker paint actually works better for me. Don Leo says, "Yeah, I think I'd want to buy some watercolor pencils if I ever get back to markers." Nice. I think I like gouache a lot as like a kind of an intermediate color medium between like watercolor, acrylics, um, and oils. It kind of has properties of all of those, so it's I think it's a great painting medium. There's just one major flaw with it, maybe two, but one major flaw with it. Um, and that is it is like if you put down a color, right? Let's say you were drawing just a flat color and it's a square and you wanted to add like an inch to that square, the same color, um, after it dried, it is maybe if you're very experienced, you can do it. But if you're not, it is nearly impossible to match your colors because the darks dry lighter, the lights dry darker, and it's practically impossible to match exactly the color. That's the one like big flaw with gouache paint, in my opinion. Donnelly says, I suppose using the brayer is kind of like adding a wash to your painting. Yeah, exactly. It kind of is. It's it really is kind of a way of doing it without using solvents. So yes, it does accomplish some other factors that the wash wouldn't, obviously. But yes, there is an element of that. You're absolutely right. Some of my favorite painters use a brayer, and that's what like got me started on it. Um, I've mentioned this before though. I use it differently than they do, um, which gives me different results. But yeah, uh, a lot of painters use it. I'm not like special in that. I got it from some, like I said, I got it from some of my favorite painters. Uh, but just like just like brushes, it's it's just a tool. Some of the painters I know that use brayers are Alpi Effie or Alpi Faye. I can never remember. I'm so dumb for not looking it up. But yeah, he uses brayers in his paintings. I think exclusively towards the end, because because his the first stages of his paintings are very very accurate. He draws in his paintings. He draws in everything, and like he's a very very clean painter, especially in the beginning stages. It's impressive, honestly. Um, how like accurate and precise he is, and how like how quickly he is able to get the color he wants exactly. Like he's so I think he's just so experienced at this point. He just goes and gets it. It seems like first try. I'm sure he does some adjustments over time, but yeah, he does a lot of it seems like he just gets it first try. He's so good at that. And then I think uh Luba something. I can't remember. I think it's his girlfriend. I don't know if they're still partners. I don't know if they're still together. But she has a YouTube channel as well. I think she uses a brayer occasionally for special effects, like for a particular effect. Um, she does a lot of mixed medium. She does watercolors and acrylics and gouache and oils, and she just mixes it all kind of thing. So I could see her using it for sure. Um, and then Jeremy Mann also uh, used to use brayers. I don't know if he still does. Kind of, I think it depends what he's doing. He used them a lot when he was doing cityscapes, and I think he used them on some of his No, he definitely used them on portraiture work. But on his portraiture work, I think he used it more, or figurative, I should say. I think he used it more as like a effects thing, whereas um, on his what's it called, landscapes, he used it more early on to draw with, if I'm not mistaken. And to clarify, in case anyone's wondering, there's no right or wrong way. I'm just pointing out like what I know, as far as I know. Um, Casey Ba may use it once. He would be using it, I think, just for the effects. He likes to do a lot of splatter stuff though, so I don't know if he uses uh Brayers. But I know he does a lot of splatter effects. Tristan, what are you looking at? Little boy. He's looking at the shadows. Gotta watch them shadows, you know? Oh, there is a painter who I like a lot, but I can't remember his name. He does have a channel on YouTube. I don't know that he's all that active. Um, he paints real thick. Like he just lays on the paint real thick, even in the beginning. And he also lays it in very messy. Like you'll see his brush, and you can see he mixed the paint with his brush and not very well. So it's got all kinds of like odd colors in it and stuff, which is gorgeous. Like he's such a good painter. I don't know how he is able to control the paint the way he does. It's very impressive. I wish I could remember his name right now. Yeah. Trying to remember. I think it might be Michael something, but I can't can't remember for sure. Um, Arthur Gaines, who is on he's on Twitch. Um, he the way he paints is crazy. Like he's so like he's a quick. He can be really quick, but he's also, at least with his lane, I don't know the finals. I think he's a little slower. But oh my god, his subtleties with his skin tones and stuff is gorgeous. Uh, and his brush marks too. You barely see his brush marks, which is not the goal in my paintings at all. But I recognize the how how good he is at it. There's a lot of painters out there who do things that I don't want to do, but I still really appreciate what they do. Yeah. And I would totally love to be able to incorporate some of what he does into my own painting. Like he is really, really good. And of course, since I'm talking about a bunch of people online, we cannot forget about Nicholas Saribe and Our Painted Lives on YouTube. Um, I think I take him for granted a little bit at this point because I've watched him so much and seen so much of his videos and interacted with him so much. Yeah, but he's amazing. I would tell you all that he's having a class and to go sign up, but it's already sold out. But he will be having another class later this year. At least that's the plan. So if you like Nicholas Uribe, you might want to sign up, follow him online, and so on. And then yeah. All right, let's get the background in here. Ah, I just messed up my paint. That sucks. I will say this, if you're getting into oil painting, if you're new to it and you're getting into it, do not follow my example as far as like laying out what's it called? Your paint piles. Like put out way more than I am. I am not a good example for this. Um yeah, don't do this. This isn't, I'm not going to say it's like a bad habit on my end because the paints I use and because of the amount I paint, I know that it's fine, and I have no problem stopping what I'm doing and putting out more paint. But if you're new, don't don't do this. Put out a lot more paint. It'll help you in the long run. Also, most likely you're not going to be using my palette when you first start, in which case you're going to need a lot more paint anyways. So I'll probably get to the brayer stage of the painting. I don't know that I'm going to get much further than that tonight. Although the stage after the brayer is not like I can pick it up no problem next painting session. Um, yeah, it's not a problem as long as I don't make one crucial mistake, which I won't because I know what it is now. So when using, actually, it's not unique to using a brayer. When painting, if after you put down paint, you want to go in and draw back into the painting, one technique of doing that is obviously you can use paint and draw over it, and obviously, you can do stuff like that. One technique though is to use I have here a wipeout tool. It's just a thing with like a silicone little head on it, and it wipes out paint, right? Wipe it off. So you can go in and draw with it on wet paint. It works really well. It's a great tool. However, if you do that, make sure that you are going to actually paint over it before your paint dries. Because if you don't, you are going to be left with ridges in your paint that are very unnatural and really very distracting. So yeah. Sprayer hype? Yeah. Although I need to take a break before that. Don't I, Dresden? Yeah. We're gonna get a little cat break before I finish this all. All right, Justin. Oh, yeah. I know. You want me to pet you on the floor. You'd rather be pet on the floor. I know. But they can't see you on the floor. My room's too messy to show the floor. Justin. Aw, baby boy, come on. I know. Get that tail. Get it. Do you want your tail? Do you want your tail? Okay, little boy. Okay. Donnelly, tell my bride of Frankenstein to quit staring you down? No, never. That's her job. Yeah. Oh, I should talk about my schedule this coming week. So, um, yeah, I'm not going to paint. I'm not going to be streaming Sunday or Monday. Um, wait, actually, I could stream Monday. I can't. Sunday's New Year's Eve, but Monday I could stream because that's. Yeah, okay, I take that back. I'm not streaming Sunday. I'll stream Monday. Because why not? Yeah, I'll stream Monday. Actually, not only will I stream Monday, I can stream a little earlier than I normally can on Monday. So I'll do that. I won't stream Sunday, I'll stream Monday. I have Monday off, that's why. Dresden, go. Little boy. He's just laying on the floor in front of me. Hungover painting stream. uh, Wait a second. Have I ever painted with a hangover? Yeah. No. Never painted with a hangover. Painted drunk. Never with a hangover. Dresden, this is not a good spot for you. Come on, move. No, don't attack my foot. Move. I don't like my cats being right under the easel, and because every once in a while, rarely, but every once in a while, something will fall, or paintbrush will get knocked over, or some paint will drip, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I don't like it. By the way, for anybody who is curious, if you are using oil paints and you get oil paints on an animal, um, a few things you can use to clean it are, and obviously make sure this is safe for the animal. My understanding is for most animals this is safe, but I am not a veterinarian. Um, so, just fair warning. But let's see. Dish soap, like regular, like Dawn dish soap can work. Also, what's it called? Um, like coconut oil for oil paint or vegetable oil, any vegetable oil for that matter, will clean oil paint. Uh, Someone says, I do all my art with weed. I'm a shaman. That's funny. And no, you know, no problems here with that. Yeah, like I said, I've done drinking and painting, although I think overall it's better to not be drunk when painting, but it's fun. Whatever. I um I have tried weed, of course, only where it's legal and in legal means, of course. Except for that one time I was drugged, um, or roofied maybe with weed, however you want to call it. That one wasn't on purpose, so not exactly in my control. Um, but yeah, weed makes me nauseous and doesn't give me a high of any kind, which is really, really unfortunate. Yeah, I went to a house party one time, um, and it was a what was it? Halloween house party. So they had, They had drinks, which I had a couple drinks, but they also had candy everywhere. Um, and they also had Rice Krispie treats out, and I ate one. No one bothered to say that they were special Rice Krispie treats um, until way later. Um, yeah, that was very unpleasant. Special, yeah, no, it was a weed white Rice Krispie treat, and it was um, very strong and very unpleasant. All right, Brayer time. Yeah, no, that it was really it was not good. This was years ago, so like a house party was more common, to have like, you know, open stuff like that maybe, but they should have warned people because I was like two or three drinks in and then I ate a whole like a you know a whole Rice Krispie treat. I was so sick from that thing. It was miserable. Anyways, yeah. Brayer time. So for the Brayer, um, Dan the man. Hey, say your prayers, little one. That's funny. Yeah, exactly. Um, so when using the brayer, it kind of makes a mess. Obviously, that's kind of the point. I want to fill in all these white gaps. Um, the big thing is that, like, to say that it's random isn't entirely accurate. There's a limited amount of control that I have, obviously. Um, but I know that, like, if I start on the green and I pull it down, it's going to, streak the green kind of down into the other colors. And the more I mix, the more it just becomes mud. So I'll probably wipe it sometimes. Another thing I do sometimes is I'll grab colors that I want and I'll mix them in. Like I'll make a mix right now of like a lighter bluish gray kind of color. Um, Damn it, Thalo. Um, and I'll mix that in sometimes with the brayer by grabbing it off the palette and then what's it called? And then, running it over. And that will be about it. There's not a ton that goes into using the brayer, if I'm being honest. At least not in my opinion. And obviously you can use the brayer in any direction you want. I have a tendency to just go up and down or horizontal, side to side. I don't usually go too diagonal for some reason. Usually, not always. But yeah. So I'll do that and then I'll wipe it down a little bit. Not entirely clean it because it's kind of a pain in the ass to clean. So I'll just be lazy and wipe it a little bit and then go in. And you can also put like more pressure. This one's a soft brayer, so I can put more pressure on like one side than the other. And that does give me different effects like I just got right now, where it like there's more of a, you know, more on one side. I can do the opposite too if I want to put it on the other side more. Theoretically, although it doesn't always work. So this to me is just a little too homogeneous green. So I'm just going to add some other colors here from my palette just so that I have something there. I don't normally do it this way, but I just wanted to get some of the homogeneous aspect out of it. So there we go. All right. So now at this stage, what I normally do is, let's see what time it is. Yeah, 10:30. All right. So at this stage, what I normally will do is I'll take a photo of this with my phone. And I'll put it into Photoshop and I'll overlay the reference. I'll do an overlay with this so I can see, you know, where everything is like quote unquote supposed to go. You can do this the hard way and measure. I think it's great to do that, especially if you're learning or if you just want to be better at it. I just go for speed a lot of times. So especially, yeah, basically speed. And then, like I said, I've used my, what's it called? My wipeout tool to draw into it. However, only do that if you're going to finish it. Oh shit, I just realized I messed up. Only do that if you're going to actually finish it the same day. If you're not, you're going to leave ridges and make your life so much harder. So don't do that. If you're not going to go back into the drawing and paint over the ridges that you make same day, then don't use the wipeout tool to draw and use paint to draw, because it's a huge mistake that I've had to deal with in the past. So yeah, at this point, I'll just take a photo, overlay it in Photoshop, and then I'll take a small brush. Usually I'll use quinacridone rose. And I'll just go in and mark out all the places I feel I need to adjust things. Like, you know, if the nose needs clarification or the side of the face might need some, I'll go in and do that. And then I just start modeling in the paint, you know. So yeah. Don Lee says, interesting way to add a touch of semi-random coloring. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hopefully some of this random mess on the figure ends up staying there too. At least that I will probably try, or I'll go back and redo some of it again. Because I can use the brayer. You can use the brayer multiple times. It doesn't have to be once, but yeah. But yeah. So anyways, but it is getting late and I'm going to have to call it a night tonight, unfortunately. Creative Fit, you made it back in time for me to say goodnight. I'll stream. I'm not streaming Sunday. I want to wish everyone a Happy New Year's, and I will stream on Monday, probably a little earlier than normal, because I'm not working on Monday. So yeah, just want to wish everyone a Happy New Year, and hope to see you on Monday or Wednesday again. And yeah, that's about it. Take care. You too, Creative Fit. Thank you. Thank you, Donley. Appreciate it.